Welcome back to The Jump. I am Rachel Nichols alongside Paul Pierce, Zach Lowe, Matt Barnes. We are waiting for Lakers media availability that is scheduled to start any minute. I do want to talk a little bit about what we heard last night on TNT. Such a touching and well done tribute from some of the people who knew Kobe best, including, of course, Shaquille O'Neal, and then walked out onto the plaza here at Staples Center. Take a listen.
Kobe, 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 Kobe. That's awesome.
The bravery of everyone within about 2 feet of him, because I've been around Shaq when he starts to
right
jump
there.
around.
You know,
he did
you
it.
notice how quickly everyone got quiet?
When Shaq tells you to get quiet, you get quiet.
Right.
But a little bit of that is kind of like the little clip of we saw them playing soccer earlier, when you are in these just mountains of days of tremendous grief, just being able to yell and sort of move your body around. It is something that everyone needs. Shaq posted to Instagram earlier today. He's going to be donating all the proceeds from his upcoming Super Bowl event in Miami this weekend to all the families who lost loved ones and to the Kobe and Vanessa Foundation. Paul, how do you think Shaq and Kobe as a duo will be remembered?
You know, this is arguably the greatest duo.
Tell me who's even else is in the argument.
I mean,
seriously.
like, you know, you want to say Pippen and Jordan, but when you rank these two all time,
right,
they're both going to be top 10. So there's no other duo that you have two. Well, they're arguably Kareem and Magic.
Kareem and Magic.
You know, that's the closest thing. And it's a toss-up.
For me, it's just position-wise, right? Kareem and Magic and Shaq and Kobe both have that combination of positions, combination of skill sets. Pippen and Jordan, to me, overlapped more than those guys overlap with each other, which give you sort of that fuller picture. Is that fair, or?
I mean, I think they're the greatest duo. You know, we discussed on the podcast, and Kobe said, you know, outside of the Spurs, who knows how many championships that, you know, they could have possibly won 10 in a row. But as far as two players, like you said, one being a guard, one being a big, primarily when that's what the league was all about, they have the two best at it. You know what I mean? So there's a few other duos you could put in there, but to me, Kobe and Shaq were definitely the best duo ever to play.
All right. Frank Vogel, indeed, walking to the podium now. Let's hear what he has to say. Oh, he's walking. Apparently, my producers in the control room say he's walking. So that's what we're going to watch right there, walking with Allison Bogley, longtime Lakers media relations, having to deal with this, by the way. I want to shout out to her because having to deal with this is as hard as anyone. She worked alongside Kobe for years. And then again, to have to go do your job. Can you imagine the media requests and everything that this team has had to deal with? And she has been front and center, so I want to shout her out as well. Zach, what's your feeling on Shaq and Kobe as we wait for Frank Vogel to continue walking?
Yeah, I was rewatching some of the 2001 playoffs when they went 15-1 and just destroyed everybody. And there was always this obsession about who's number one and who's number two. And well, Shaq was a three-time Finals MVP, so Kobe was number two, like we were talking about. In that playoffs, that was as perfect as it could ever be. Between it, that was one and one just a little below. It was perfect.
Let's hear from Frank.
Personally, and on behalf of the Lakers family, offering condolences to Vanessa Bryant and the entire Bryant family on the loss of Kobe and Gianna. We are all deeply, deeply saddened by this unthinkable tragedy. And our thoughts and prayers are with you. I also want to offer condolences to the families of the other victims that were lost in this tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers are with you as well. And with that, I'll open up for questions.
Coach, how emotional has this been for you and your family at home and your Laker family here?
Extremely emotional on both fronts. You know, it's been something that has touched my family, being the father of daughters. It's been very emotional and, you know, something that brings us together. And then as well as the Lakers family. You know, I'm around, the people that were closest to Kobe, you know, throughout his time here. And, you know, it's been just a deeply saddening time for all of us.
Frank, can you describe how you broke the news to the team on the plane and kind of what the sentiment of that moment was like?
You know, for me, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew. And, you know, some of them had heard, you know, I've seen the reports, some had not. So it's just a a daunting task of just grabbing each guy one-on-one and letting them know.
Obviously, the NBA canceled that game Tuesday. How do you know when this team can be ready? And you said it's pulled you together. How do you guard against it breaking you apart and losing focus?
I don't think you could break us apart in any way. Yeah, I mean, it's just a feel thing. You know, you observe those around you, you observe your own feelings and emotions, and you know, you proceed at the right pace, at the right time.
Frank, has there been talk about playing this season for Kobe, that sort of thing?
You know, we want to represent what Kobe was about, you know, more than anything. We've always wanted to make him proud, and you know, that's not going to be any different here.
Frank, what did you guys get done yesterday, and what do you think, what kind of work did that do for those guys emotionally?
We did some things that we felt would be therapeutically beneficial. We got in the gym for some team shooting work. No real practice working on anything in particular. I wanted our guys to come in mentally free, but to get a sweat, touch the ball, to be around each other, and then we had a lunch, you know, where we all you know, just spent time together and grieved together.
Coach, speaking on behalf of the Lakers, if you had a chance, what would you tell Kobe Bryant?
You know, I'm not ready to go there. You know, I really not. You know, some questions I'm not just not gonna be able to answer right now.
Frank, could you maybe tell us perhaps a favorite Kobe story over the years?
No, I'm not ready to go there either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What have you learned about this team through these last few days and through this tragedy?
Well, it's just strengthened what we've felt all year about our current group, which is, you know, we've become a family in a very short time. And, you know, it's something that you talk about in the NBA with your teams. But this group in particular has really grown to love each other very rapidly. And, you know, we understand the importance and the opportunity we have this year. And, you know, this has just brought us closer together.
You speak of being a father to...
Sorry, go ahead,
You speak of being a father to daughters, knowing how much he loved his daughters and supported women's sports and all beyond. What did that mean to you?
I mean, it's just, you connect with that, you know, and you feel it, you know, because it's what your life is about. Him being a father to daughters and being involved in their sports was, you know, the most enjoyable thing, you know, in his life, you know, from my observations. And it's the most enjoyable thing in my life. I love being the coach of the Lakers, but it doesn't come close to comparing to my family time. And, you know, so it's very relatable.
Frank, how's the
Purple boom.
How have the leaders of your team, LeBron, Anthony, how have they tackled the task of leading this group going forward?
Really the same way they have throughout the year. You know, we've collaborated with them on, you know, what the next few days should look like. You know, they've been vocal in terms of, you know, just helping the group manage their emotions and get through this.
Welcome back to The Jump. We're going to have live coverage of Lakers media availability coming up as soon as they get to the podium. And of course, it is hard to measure how hard this has hit that team. Guys, yesterday they all got in a room, told stories about Kobe, kind of like we're all doing here. Reportedly, they saluted him with a glass of wine at the end, as is appropriate. And we've just heard that so many of these guys have been devastated, crying for a few days. So it was nice when they got to the complex today. We saw that sort of little bit of like emotional levity and release. LeBron, Anthony Davis joking around on the soccer field that's at that complex with some of the athletic trainers and other staff members, and just kind of having a minute to yell and scream and smile, which I don't think any of them have been able to do for 2.5 days, and then actually have a practice today. You can see them getting some shots up. So again, as soon as they are coming off the court and to the podium, we will bring that to you. In the meantime, I want to talk about two of Kobe's contemporaries posting their thoughts on Instagram last night. Here's Chris Paul. The love you had for the game was nowhere near the love you had for your girls, all 5 of them. And Gigi, who we had already prearranged her marriage with little Chris, is as beautiful and feisty as she could ever be. As I've watched you in retirement, as happy as you have ever been, I've sat back and prayed and hoped that my baby girl will look at me the way Gigi looks at you. I love you. I will miss you with all my heart, my brother. All love to Vanessa and all the families during this time. Carmelo Anthony also posting a Kobe tribute of his own, saying, quote, there are moments in life when there are simply no words to describe the pain within. This is one of them. You will continue to be loved. You will be missed. You will be forever remembered. Your legacy will live on forever. Our friendship will not be forgotten. I know you will be near, even if I don't see you. Peace, King. There are no goodbyes. Wherever you'll be in our hearts. It is emotional to read that. I kind of can't believe that what is going to be ending up the first game the Lakers play will be LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony going against each other, because the Blazers will be playing the Lakers on ESPN here on Friday night. I want to get back to Chris Paul just for 1 second. You saw Chris since this happened.
Yeah.
How shaken is he?
He was, you know, our boys go to school together. So I did some stuff for ESPN and I was running late. So they went to his house and I was waiting outside for him, and all of a sudden like a black Range Rover comes out and it's staring at me. I'm like, who's this? And then he rolls down the window and it's Chris, and he's just teary-eyed, man. You know, Chris is a very emotional, wears hard on the sleeve type guy, you know. So we had a moment and we discussed, and we're just in disbelief, you know what I mean? And he said he took some extra time. He came home for his daughter's recital, and he said that the accident happened right down the street from where the recital was, and he just was crushed. And he took some extra time with the family, and I think he said he's going to meet his team in Sacramento either tonight or tomorrow or something. So.
Well, it's that urgent, Zach, you talked about it. You were on a plane when you heard about it, and you wanted the plane to turn around so you could go hug your daughter.
Yeah, I'm going home tomorrow. I can't wait to go home. It is disorienting. You know, I was talking to an agent just a couple of hours ago, and he was saying that, you know, it was disorienting for him too. He wanted to be with his kids. It's like you said, it's just strange how these things make you feel.
Yeah.
It's so personal. I know you immediately rushed to be with your kids too. If you're a player then who had to turn around and play in this game on Friday, if you are LeBron James with, as he said, all of this now on his shoulder, the personal just trauma of having a friend die. But I mean, also, by the way, Kobe and LeBron spoke twice in the 12 hours before Kobe died. But then also, as he says, I'm putting on my shoulders the responsibility for this team. How do you narrow your mind to go into basketball games?
You know, I really don't know. A few years ago, when I played in Washington, I lost my best friend, and I got the call in the middle of the night. And I went out there and I played the first 3 minutes and I couldn't play. I mean, I literally told the coach, take me out, I couldn't play. It was that hard. I mean, that's the feeling I have.
Was it just because your brain couldn't focus in on basketball? I couldn't
focus on basketball because you understand there's more to life.
Right.
I mean, there's more to life, and I couldn't focus on back cuts or plays. I'm thinking about I lost a brother, I lost my best friend. I couldn't process it.
Right.
And I tried, and you know, you try to go out there and do things to get your mind off, but in the moment, it was tough for me to handle, and I had to take some days off.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, and I think that, you know, from afar, fans see us and think, okay, you get paid a bunch of money, you should be invincible, not knowing that we're humans just like everyone else. So we lose friends, we lose moms, we lose Kobe, we lose Gigi, you know, we lose a lot of different people. And although we're going through these same battles and up and down emotions, we're paid to go out there and perform for 2.5 hours no matter what the circumstances are. Right. And it just shows that, you know, there's stuff that's bigger than basketball, and obviously life is more precious than basketball. So, you know, hats off to everyone who's going out there and playing in his honor now. But, you know, like we mentioned, it's definitely got to be tough. I mean, when you're in the moment, you're in the moment, but the second a foul is called, the second you're subbed out, the second the game stops, you go right back to what is hurting the most, and obviously that's what Kobe and Gigi left that void.
Zach, there was some surprise when the Lakers-Clippers game that was scheduled for last night did get postponed, just because it's happened so rarely in NBA history. The Kennedy assassination stopped games, and then there were a couple sporadic stops. There was a brief stop for 9/11. There was a stop in 1 or 2 cities for very tragic events that happened there, but it's extremely rare. We're talking in the last 60 years. Do you get the impression that they could have played a game, or that it was close, or that it was just like, this cannot happen?
I don't know ever how close it was, but I defer to the players. I mean, if they don't want to play, if the organizations aren't ready to play, if the Lakers aren't ready, then you just, you know, they are in the same city. In theory, you could reschedule this game, although Staples Center is pretty booked up. But you just some things come second now, you know.
go borrow the forum, man. I mean,
yeah, there are other ways. There are other ways to do it.
We see Rob Pelinka there on the screen. I'm not sure if we're going to hear from him today or not. Of course, remember, Rob Pelinka was Kobe Bryant's agent for 2 decades,
That's
right?
Wow.
He was the godfather, I believe, of Gigi and at least maybe one of the other kids in that family. He is so close to them, and of course, we're seeing the players there as well. We've heard I don't know how to phrase this. Vanessa Bryant has updated her Instagram, and I want to share that with you right now. The photo there is a picture of Kobe and his daughter. So we have not gotten official comments from her, but obviously it's unspeakable to think about what she must be feeling.
I can't even imagine.
I know all of us up here have children. The death of a child is something no parent should ever have to deal with, and then of course to lose her husband too. You know Vanessa, and just is.
It's hard. I mean, you got to think. You know, Natalia being on her way to college.
Yes.
And the 2 younger girls are never going to really get to know how amazing of a man their father was. You know, obviously Bianca being 4 and Capri being 7 or 8 months. You haven't, I have a 1-year-old, so they kind of don't really have a grasp on life yet. So they lost a father. You know, she lost a husband. You know, his mom and dad lost a son. His sisters lost a brother. Like it hits us heavy, but we can't imagine what it's doing to the actual family. So it's, they stay in our prayers and our thoughts, and we just wish them nothing but the best.
It's the thing to always remember that these are real people with real families, and in the end, we are all very sad to lose Kobe as a public figure and as a friend, but losing your father, your son, your brother, your husband like that is the tragedy. We will be on Friday when the Lakers and Blazers play that first game on the scene at the Staples Center. We're going to have a special 2-hour edition on The Jump. That will be LA Live Plaza. We have so many guests planned. We are going to do it right for Kobe Bryant as we prepare for Lakers Blazers later that night on ESPN. Coming up, Kobe, one of the legendary figures in American sports, and we will be talking more about him and hearing from the Lakers players as well.